Hello everyone, my name is Aastha. I welcome you all to our classes for International English Olympiad for class 9th. Today is our third class in the series and we will be doing the topic of antonyms. It's a very interesting topic, helping you to understand we will be understanding what the opposites of words are, which can actually enhance your vocabulary as well. So let's get started. Now synonyms were the words which had similar meanings. जैसे happy and joyful, right? जैसे sad and depressed, words with similar meanings. But यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? यहाँ पे you see negative and positive. Either you see happy and sad. You see above and below. Now here if you can notice, here the situation is that all these words are opposite to each other. These words mean exactly the opposite. So the words which mean opposite to each other, they are called antonyms. Synonyms थे the words which are similar to each other, which mean the same, and antonyms are the words which mean opposite to each other, right? Now we will do examples. हम examples करेंगे तो आपको ज़्यादा अच्छे से टॉपिक समझ आएगा, आपको उसकी प्रैक्टिकल implication समझ आएगी और questions solve तभी होंगे जब आप examples अच्छे से समझ पाएं और फिर questions में इन्हें use कर पाएं. Okay? Okay, so here you can see a few examples. Combine is the antonym of separate. Clockwise opposite is anti-clockwise. Correct, the antonym is incorrect. Conceal, which means to hide something. Reveal means unveil it, show it. Right, come and go. Common and rare. Comfort and discomfort. Courage and cowardice, cruel and kind, courteous to be the opposite of discourteous or rude. Alright, these are a few antonyms. They are the opposites of each other, which means what combine means is the opposite of what separate means, and so on and so forth. Here we have a few more examples for you. Happy and sad, which we did. Hard and soft. Heavy and light. High and low. In and out. Last and first. Laugh and cry. Hasna, rona. Pehla, आखरी. Andar, bahar. Upar, niche. Getting it? Learn and teach, less and more, kam zyada, lie and truth. Remember I told you on the previous slide, false and true ho jayega, lie and truth. Long and short, lamba and chota. Loose and tight, lost, found, love, hate, north, south, on and off, over and under, play and work, polite and rude, poor and rich, present and absent. When your teacher takes your attendance, you either say present ma'am when you're in the class, or you say for somebody who's not there, you say absent ma'am. Right? top and bottom, quick and slow. आप देख रहे हैं इन सब में similarities क्या हैं? Similarities are that both of them, they mean the opposite. So let's move on. A few more examples, we will go over them quickly. Raise and lower. Raise मतलब किसी चीज को ऊंचा करना, lower मतलब नीचा करना, right? Increase and decrease. Right and wrong. Rise and sink. Rough and smooth. Same and different. Sell and buy. Short and long. Sour and sweet. Start and stop. Stay and leave. Stop and go. Strong and weak. Teacher and student. Tidy and messy. True and false. Ugly and beautiful. Up and down. White and black. Wild and tame. Wild and tame, if you don't know the meaning, tame करना किसी को control कर लेना जैसे होता है. Wild, when something or somebody is not in your control, they are running wild. Like wild animals जो होते हैं, they are the ones जो control के बाहर हो जाते हैं. Tame are the ones जो अपने control कर लिया है. They're going as per your instructions. Win and lose. Well and sick. How are you feeling? I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling well. But if you are unwell, you say I'm feeling sick. Wet and dry. Young and old. All right. Here are a few examples, few more examples. Like virtue is the opposite of vice. Visible, the opposite of invisible. Voluntary, the opposite of compulsory. Vowel, the opposite of consonant. Wax is the antonym of vain. Wisdom is the antonym of folly. Within, opposite of without. Alright, so you've seen so many examples of antonyms. Now let's move on. Now we will be doing the quiz. Alright, so for the quiz what we will be doing is, now every question you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute means 60 seconds. Why am I giving you 1 minute? Because you see, your question paper of IEO, it has about 50 questions, and so you can imagine that you get more or less a minute to answer the questions. Now this 1 minute is the maximum that you should be taking for answering the question. Now suppose there could be two, three categories of students. First category is, suppose you answer the question within that 1 minute. So I would request you to fast forward the video and skip right to the answer. You should not be wasting your time. Alright. Now the other students who are not able to answer the question in 1 minute, what you do, you don't skip to the answer. You pause the video and you write down your answer. Alright, it is very important to answer each and every question because there is no negative marking. Here you see, for every incorrect answer, no points, because there is no negative marking in IEO. So it is important that you attempt all the questions. Now for a question of which you are not sure about the answer, now even here and even in the exam, if you are not sure about the answer, and you maybe think that B option might be correct or C option might be correct, so you should in that case play your luck and play your mind and make a guess and still give an answer, because it is a win-win situation. Either you will get the marks for that question or you will get a 0, right? But if you don't attempt that question at all, then you are anyway getting a 0 in that, right? So it is good to attempt those questions, and even if you don't know all the answers, try to understand and take a guess. Okay, so this is for every correct answer 10 points. This is just for your own little game where you can try to maintain a notepad. So here you write the name of the chapter and then the question, and then if it is correct you can give yourself 10 points. If it is not correct, you mark it here. So it is important to see these questions, the ones which you mark incorrect. It is important to go back to them later and then see where you did the mistake. Alright, this is just for your reference. For every correct answer you can give yourself 10 points. Alright, now let's start. Now we start off with our questions on antonyms. So here the first category of question says, select the opposite of the given words. Antonyms are what? Opposites. The words which mean the opposite. We will be given a word, and from the options we have to choose the word which means the opposite of the given word. Alright, so let's start. Now here the first word is keen. And the options we have are dull, rogue, ardent, or shrewd. Okay. Now keen means something, for a person someone who's very eager, like to learn something or otherwise. So the opposite could be dull. Okay. Keen is the opposite of dull. The other words here like rogue. Rogue means someone, who's like someone who's gone rogue. Like, that person is not following any principles or honesty, any principles or values. And ardent could be someone who's very passionate about something. Alright. Then we have shrewd. Shrewd as an adjective if we use for a person means someone who has very sharp judgment. Okay, clever. Alright, the next word we have is salvage. The options here are outfit, lose, burn and recover. Now salvage, when you're able to salvage something, it means you're able to save something. Okay, so it could be the antonym to lose. Whereas here recover could be a synonym. Okay, and burn could also be an antonym. An outfit is a noun, completely different, given to confuse you. Okay, here we have the next word, blatant. The options are noisy, quiet, barren and slow. Now blatant actually means something which is, done in the open. Okay, done openly, and there's no subtleness about it. Okay, so the opposite could be quiet, something done quietly. Alright, blatant could be synonymous to noisy. Okay. Alright, the next word we have is urban. Here the options are city, town, metropolitan and rural. Now urban could be, urban is the opposite to rural. Whereas other words here like city, town, metropolitan, these could be the synonyms of urban. Okay, here we have sympathy. The options are pity, empathy, abhorrence and apathy. So here the word which means the opposite to sympathy is apathy. Apathy is D. Now sympathy actually means when you are feeling kind for someone, sympathizing with them. Okay, whereas apathy actually means when you are least concerned about someone. And pity and empathy could be synonyms. Whereas abhorrence actually is too much hatred. It's like loathing. Okay, so abhorrence could be synonymous to apathy in a certain way. Alright, now the next up we have virtue. Here the options are vice, quality, asset and purity. Now the word which is opposite to virtue is vice. Now you must have heard about these two together, virtue and vice. Virtue is virtue. Now as a noun it means some having very high morals and showing values, whereas when we talk about vice actually means a sort of immoral behavior, criminal activities. Okay, so virtue, quality, purity, asset, these could be synonyms to virtue, whereas vice is the opposite. Okay, the next up we have is a boost. The options are wax, hike, hinder, rebuke. Boost is sort of increasing something, right? Or encouraging something. So the opposite could be hinder. Hinder is acting like an hindrance, which means stopping something, causing problems. It's like waxing something, hiking, rebuking, actually. Not rebuke. Rebuking actually means disapproving of something, but not really acting as a problem. The direct opposite of boost is hinder. This could be a synonymous to hinder in one sense. Okay, like wax and hike are the synonyms for boost. Okay, next up we have thrift. Here the options are purchase, gain, waste and invest. Now thrift could be, we have to choose the antonym, yes. Thrift could be the antonym of waste. Thrift, because that actually means, using something very carefully in a wise manner. Because wasting is just, throwing it away and not using it wisely. Alright. Okay, next up we have demon. Here the options are charitable, kind-hearted, angel and fair-minded. This one's pretty easy. The correct answer is angel. Angels and demons. Other words also, they're similar to, angel, being angelic qualities like charitable, being kind-hearted, being fair-minded. But the direct antonym of demon is angel. Alright, now next up we have acute. The options are dull, sensitive, critical and sharp. Now acute, as in we talk about as an adjective for someone, we can call it to be very severe, very serious also. This is an acute danger, like very serious danger. Okay, so the opposite here could be a dull. Whereas all others like sensitive, sharp and critical, these could be synonyms of acute. next word is nervous. Here the options we have are bold, doubtful, timid and shrewish. Now nervous, this is pretty easy, can be the antonym of bold. Nervous, feeling a little bit tense and hesitant, whereas bold is feeling strong and not nervous at all. Okay, the other words like we have doubtful, timid could be synonyms of nervous. Shrewish actually means it's generally used for women, who are we can say bad tempered. Okay. Alright, now next up we have miserly. The options are abject, splendid, close and generous. So here we have to choose the antonym. So miserly, the antonym is generous. Now miserly actually means someone who's a miser in the sense acting in a very conjuice manner. Okay. Generous, someone who has a big heart, acts generously. Right. So the other words we have here like abject. When abject we usually use for someone who's living in abject poverty, which means like something of the maximum degree. Okay. Splendid, something that's very big and close. Right. Splendid could be synonymous to generous. Okay, the next word we have is delete. Here the options are impound, insert, inspire and injure. This is pretty easy. The antonym of delete is insert. Delete means removing something, insert means adding something. Okay, the next word we have is voluntary. Here the options are ordered, alternative, compulsory or optional. Voluntary is something that you do on your own. Nobody has really asked you to do it. So the opposite could be compulsory, something that is that you do out of compulsion. All right. Compulsory could be synonymous to ordered as well. Then we have alternative, optional, which are synonyms of voluntary. Okay, here we have roughly. The options are exactly, partially, pointedly or largely. The correct answer is exactly. We talk about roughly, we say, not in an exact manner, like in a vague manner. So these could be the synonyms to partially or like largely. Whereas exactly means when you're talking about, the exact fact, the pointing it out. Okay. Next word we have is seldom. Here the options are rarely, scarcely, often or never. Now seldom is something that happens on a lesser number of occasions. Okay, so scarcely could be the opposite to often. Something that happens on more occasions. Rarely could be a synonym, scarcely could be a synonym, never something that happens not at all. Okay, here we have attack. The options are advance, rush, strike and defend. Pretty easy. The opposite of attacking someone is defending someone. All these others like advance, rush, strike could be called to be synonyms of attack. Alright, the next word we have is extravagant. Here the options are profuse, miser, kind and seller. Now the antonym of extravagant is miser. Miser, as I told you, someone who saves a lot of money. Extravagant is someone who who has no restraint in spending money or say resources. Alright, now profuse is an adjective. Again, it could be a synonym of extravagant. Kind also could be synonym. Seller also could be a synonym. Okay. Okay, here the word is rarely. The options are seldom, daily, never and used to. Okay, so rarely something that happens on less number of occasions. The antonym is daily, something that happens every day. Okay. All the seldom, never, used to, these are synonyms of rarely. Okay, next up we have blanch. Here the options are noise, plain, dull and sharp. Pretty easy. Blunt, the antonym is sharp. Sharp, something that's, pointed. Whereas blunt, that has a rough edge. Okay. Alright, now the next word is base. Here the options are noble, happy, courageous and carefully. Alright, so here the opposite of base is noble. Now noble is someone who does good deeds, valuable deeds, whereas base, that's someone who doesn't really act on moral grounds. Okay. In other words, happy, courageous, carefully. Alright, the next word we have is adversity. The options are advantage, crunch, high and suitable. So here adversity is sort of a problem and the antonym could be advantage. Alright, here crunch could also be a synonym of what? Adversity. You're facing a financial crunch, means facing a financial problem. Alright, the next word we have is notorious. Here the options are brave, high, moral and upgrade. So here the correct answer is moral. Moral, you know, of values and showing values and ethics, whereas notorious, someone who doesn't show morals and ethics. Okay. Alright, now we have the next word strict. Here the options are lenient, below, down and firm. Pretty easy. Now strict, the antonym, the opposite word is lenient. Lenient is, you know, showing freedom. Strict is showing no freedom at all, following the rules diligently. Alright, here firm. Firm could be a synonym of strict. Alright, the next word we have is ignorance. The options are innocence, darkness, incapacity or knowledge. Now the opposite of ignorance, pretty easy, is knowledge. Knowledge is the awareness about something. Ignorance is lack of knowledge about something, you know, not being aware of something. Okay, so the next word we have is scatter. Here the options are care, suitable, gather or litter. Scatter, like spreading something. The opposite could be see, gather. You know, gathering it at one place, assimilating it. Alright, scatter could be synonymous to litter as well. When you litter on the roads, which means spread such wrappers and plastic things that on the roads. That's littering. Alright, the next word we have is timid. Here the options are bold, shy, clever and wise. Okay, so here timid is someone who's shy. So the antonym is bold. Right, shy could be a synonym. Clever could be synonymous to bold in one sense. Alright, the next word we have is consider. Here the options are ignore, grant, inspect and formal. Consider something, take note of something is opposite to ignoring it, which means not paying attention to it. Right. Inspect, grant, these could be synonymous to consider. Alright, the next word we have is negligent. Here the options are careful, careless and sloppy and attitude. Now negligent is an antonym of careful. Careful, someone who takes a lot of care is concerned, whereas negligent, someone who's careless and sloppy. Alright. Alright, so the next word we have is hesitation. Here the options are certainty, confusion, attention and bold. Hesitation, the antonym could be certainty. Certainty means, being sure about something. Whereas hesitation, hesitant, being sort of confused about something. So confusion could be a synonym. Okay, the next word we have is punish. Here the options are discipline, reward, advance or chasten. Now here punish, the antonym could be easy, reward. Punishing someone, for the bad thing they did, rewarding someone for a good thing they did. Punish is also synonymous to, chasten. Chasten is also scolding someone. Alright, the next word we have is scarcity. Here the options are rarity, shortage, plenty and minority. Scarcity means something which is in less number. Opposite to plenty. Plenty, having plenty full of something. Other words like rarity, shortage, minority could be synonyms of what? Scarcity. Okay, and the antonym of plenty. Okay, so the next word we have is despair. Here the options are faith, anguish, sorrow and misery. So here, despair. Now it could be opposite to faith. Faith, having trust in something, whereas despair is actually the condition of, loss of faith, where this is the situation of hopelessness. And we can also say anguish and sorrow and misery. These are synonyms of despair. Alright, so the next word we have is rejoice. Here the options are delight, glory, euphoria and mourn. Rejoice being happy, opposite to mourn. Mourn is mourning something means, being sad about something. Other words like delight, glory, euphoria could be synonyms of rejoice. Okay, here we have induce. Now, here the options are destroy, push, refuse and revolt. Now, inducing something means like leading to do something, pushing towards doing something, right? So, it could be opposite to destroy. Destroy means spoiling something. So, push and revolt, these could be synonyms of induce, like starting off something. Refusing is saying no to something. All right. Yes, so with this we finished off with the questions on antonyms. All right. So
that's all for our class on antonyms. I hope you have understood the broad meaning and then the various examples that we discussed. So make sure if you made any mistakes, make sure you rectify them and don't repeat those mistakes. I will see you the next time. Thank you.